Yeah, it's like a foreign land now to look back on that. That was so bad to live that life, and things are so good right now, relative. Not perfect, but so good. You know, he's healthy. He's accepted his diagnosis. He takes his medication. He's been staying in control of this alcohol, and he's a help around the house because, you know, he lives in that mother-in-law cottage right behind us, and so life is good.
You know, and when you go back, kind of a life review and review that, I really have to bless that whole situation, because you think as a parent that you have the answers for your children and you are their teacher, but I swear he has been my teacher through this. We're different people.
Yeah.
We're different people than we were. And it's good.
Yeah.
It's good who we are.
One of the things was he didn't want to accept he had schizophrenia.
Right.
You know, and he did take the meds just kind of to give him a try. I mean, the doctor somehow got through to him, and the meds did make a difference. But he did, that was a big change too, a big obstacle. Yeah, this was the era before the hospitals accepted there was this idea of dual diagnosis.
Because he was drinking, they would not.
Yeah. Yeah, you tell a guy like that.
They said, you go get clean for 6 months.
6 months.
And then come back.
And a mentally ill person is going to self-medicate.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
6 months they're not going to last.
It's
so
it
was like a
catch-22.
It wasn't ever going to work with that old system.
There were times when I couldn't talk to people without absolutely falling apart, and I'm afraid I used my friends as in such a way as I'd call and say, they say, how are you doing? Well, I just go downhill from there. And I just need to thank them so much for putting up with me during all that time, because I couldn't have gotten through it without their support, without their ear. Of course, we called police. We called different agencies that I won't name. I really didn't get any help. Some agencies said they didn't come across the side of the river. I got counseling for myself. We joined National Alliance for the Mentally Ill. I have to say that another organization was paramount to us, which was National Alliance for the Mentally Ill. And I think that we had come full circle with them in terms of, being a family that could barely make it to the meetings and lost it every time we were asked to speak to people that graduated from the meetings and started to help other people, and then ran support groups ourselves, and they continue to be a touchstone for us.
And we became sort of an example of families that made it work, and you guys bringing him home, bringing him home was of course paramount and as the first big step. NAMI meetings, one of the big deals was that to know that there were many good people in this situation. You know, I mean, there's so many people who have mentally ill relatives, and that were decent people, and this happens. I mean, it's just like diabetes. It happens. Only this can do like it did with us. Put your relative on the street.
And he was still out on the street, but it was giving hope to other families to continue with the program, so that when your son or mother or whoever does come home, you won't be the same person. You'll have different skills. You'll be able to handle this differently, and it'll be a success story.
One of the things you learn is with a person who's mentally ill, don't get complicated. You know, keep it simple. Have a goal of some behavioral change or whatever, and keep it simple. Don't just bury them in complex ideas. They don't pick it up. It just makes for more difficulty, because there's so much running around in their head, so much is slipping away and not caught. You need to be simple. Also, if things get if anger arises, you know, there'll be things you don't like, or that, you know, not usually anything they don't like so much, but something you don't like that they're doing. You need to pick your times. You need to be simple and clear. You need to not be confrontational. Just make these clear and simple requests or demands. But when things are hot, drop them. Let it go and come back another time. Those were wonderful helps to me, because I got to say I did it wrong at first. So I learned. So that's how I learned to handle that. And if things got really bad, which, you know, it's been a rare thing, but if they got really bad, we found the best thing was to leave, to just go spend the night at a motel or something. And when the next morning we'd come back, sure enough, he'd be contrite and he'd be thoughtful, and then we could work things out, and we did. So.
Or just go to a movie and things will blow over.
Another thing we found is you do not call the regular police.
Ever.
If you have a big conflict. You get the crisis intervention team. You get the people that are trained and know something about mental health. And they'll be the first ones to tell you, hey, just go out to a motel and let it cool out and come back tomorrow. Because if we intervene here, we're going to have to arrest him, and it'll make a lot of problems.
Oh, it makes for a lot of problems
So
that don't need to happen.
Right. The crisis intervention team was another one of those things to know about. So
the magic words, CIT officer.
You know, we have certain things we do, like he has a calendar where he checks off his meds, and I make sure they're checked off. And there have been periods where I'd have to double check and go into the drawer where he keeps the meds and make sure he really did take them. We found a pharmacy that gives him the meds in a calendar that pop out so he doesn't lose track, you know, for the first and second and third. And we also, we have a psychiatrist who is very much into what you can, naturally too, and is very much into fish oil, has really seemed to bump up the effectiveness of his meds. That's another requirement, that he showers, shaves, or grows a beard and trims it, but he looks neat and clean, and it's amazing. But there's a two-way effect there. It really, when he looks better, it's psychologically he is better.
The mind and the body are one.
You know, so we can. That's another. We can tell things are going downhill if he starts to look disheveled or gets behind on his house cleaning, keeping his house clean, or his body. So that's another thing with maintaining our.
I think that's true with all
good
people.
Situation. Yeah, we're working on getting him independent. You know, like he should outlive us. So he needs to be independent, and it's happening little by little. And it's so fortunate, and this doctor's pointed out to us, that we don't know how lucky we are that this medication works so well for him, and it's just one thing. It's not some cocktail, because many people have great difficulty with getting the right med, and the right mix is even more difficult. So we feel blessed. You know, Join got him home. This wonderful doctor helped us out. It's just so, it was a black, dark place we were in, and this, where we're at now, is so much better. So things are good.
Great.